the day, I would like to invite Professor Raghavendra Rao from the Ministry of Ayush. I request everyone who is standing to please take your seats as soon as possible. विश्वविद्यालयात् प्राकृतिक चिकित्सा शास्त्रे योग विज्ञाने च स्नातक पदवी प्राप्तनोत्। बेंगलुरु नगरस्थ स्वामी विवेकानंद योगानुसंधान संस्थाने शोधछात्ररूपेण प्रविष्टः सहकार्यस्य अभवत्। एषः INYS मेडिकल रिसर्च सोसाइटी जिंदल नेचर केयर हॉस्पिटल बेंगलुरु नगरस्य ट्रांसडिसिप्लिनरी यूनिवर्सिटी इत्येतयोः परामर्शदाता आसीत्। एपिकॉन इत्यनेन सुशीला ठाकुर प्रकृति मंदिर पुरस्कार इत्यादयः अनेके पुरस्काराः प्राप्ताः। एषः UICC कांग्रेस मेलबर्न नगरे मलेशिया देशे च कार्यशालाः कृतवान् अस्ति। वैश्विक नैदानिक परीक्षणस्य सञ्चालस्य, जैवभण्डारस्य प्रबन्धस्य, कैंसर पञ्जीकरणस्य, नैदानिक भण्डारस्य, नैदानिक लेखापरीक्षाया च अनुभवः अनेन प्राप्तः। सम्प्रति सः वर्षचतुष्टयात् भारत सर्वकारस्य आयुष मन्त्रालयस्य योग प्राकृति विज्ञान संशोधन केंद्र परिषदः निदेशकः अस्ति। Now I would invite him to the stage for his words.
Thank you. So namaste to all of you, and happy to see this August gathering. And I thank Professor Anil Gauri Shetty, as well as the Director of IIT Roorkee, for involving CCRYN, Ministry of Ayush, to be a part of this IKS Youth Conference. A good day to all of you. So I won't take much of my time. Let me just go straight to the topic. So I want to share with you a few innovations which has happened in the yoga sector. So all of you know that yoga, since 2014, when the International Day of Yoga was coined in the UN, and we are celebrating 21st June as the International Day of Yoga since 2015 onwards. Since that time, a lot of advancements and a lot of popularity of yoga has happened all across the globe. Yoga has got a global acclaim. And if you see there today, a lot of research activities is also going on at a very, very fast pace with respect to yoga in the medicine sector. Okay, so yoga, when I say yoga, yoga is a spiritual practice. It is a philosophy. It's one of our Shak Darsanas, isn't it? It is also a part of the education system. It is also part of our culture as well. It's a part of our lifestyle as well. But yoga has got so many facets. But what we as the Ministry of Ayush is working on is to look at how yoga can be used in the field of medicine, and how can you increase the scalability of the yoga practice? How can you develop the evidence for the yoga practice? So I want to just go with you. I want to take you to the journey of what yoga is all about when it comes to use of yoga in medicine. So if you look at disease demography today, less of infectious diseases except for the COVID pandemic you had about 2 years back, but more of non-communicable diseases. India is the diabetes capital of the world. 1 in every 3 person above 40 years is hypertensive. 1 in every 19 women above 40 years has breast cancer. Okay, these 3 being the major killers or major cause of mortality in India today, because hypertension can cause CVDs, can cause stroke, and this needs to be controlled. Today we have very good advancements in medications. You have target therapies, immunotherapies, whatnot. But what is sad thing to tell about is, I'll give you an example of cancer. Cancer has been in there for a very long time. People are able to live for a little longer time with cancer, but we are not able to cure cancer. No much headway is really made in solid tumors or solid cancers, right from 1970s eventually to date. Even though you have genomics, everything you have, you look at target therapy, still you're not able to make a headway in cancer. So what is the solution here? Pill is alone not a solution. You need to really manage these diseases to find out what the root cause of these diseases are. These are also to do with stress, to do with lifestyle. People who have stress will take to bad behaviors, will take to tobacco, smoking, alcohol, etc. So what will happen? You would get these diseases, right? So these non-communicable diseases are also psychosomatic in nature, and this demography of this disease is very, very important because the causation lies in the lifestyle. So unless we change this lifestyle for the better, you can't treat these diseases alone with, particularly with your medications. So what are these lifestyle risks? What kind of diseases you can see here? You can see here metabolic imbalances, obesity, insulin resistance, diabetes. On women's health, you can see PCOS, menstrual problems, pregnancy-related issues, immune diseases, you can see cancer, autoimmunity or infections, musculoskeletal, you can look at autoimmune diseases, inflammatory arthritis, digestive disease, you can look at IBS, acid reflux disease, ischemic heart disease, in cardiovascular disease and hypertension, ADHD, behavioral disorders, depression, manic depressive psychosis, etc. And when you look at the root cause of all these diseases, you have three things in common. Nutrition is a very important, poor nutrition. Physical inactivity. What do you mean by physical inactivity? Sedentary lifestyle. Now WHO has come up and USCC Congress also has come up with a very new slogan. Sitting is the new smoking. People sitting for more than 8 hours a day, all the time. It's almost equivalent to taking 2 or 3 puffs of cigarette in a day. Okay? So this sitting is now the new smoking. So physical inactivity is a very, very important aspect. The study done by ICMR showed that in urban areas, 65% of the population is physically inactive. Urban areas. Rural areas not far behind. You think that rural areas, they are all physically active? No. 50% of them are physically inactive. So physical inactivity has become a main problem here, causing all these metabolic disorders, causing adolescent obesity, obesity in adulthood as well. And this, as obesity increases, all the diseases, the risk of getting all other diseases also increases. Because they are their own nearest cousins, you know. So what is important here to understand is where does the problem lie? Mindset. Learn to be physically active. Can you get up in the morning, do a walk? Can you get up in the morning and do yoga? How many of us have the will to do that one? It doesn't have, right? Unless you get that will to do those things, unless you take responsibility for your body, unless you try to bring balance in your life and work. What is yoga? Samatvam yoga uchyate, balance, homeostasis. So that balance in your work, in your attitude, in your lifestyle, everything should reflect inside the balance inside the body as well, balance inside the physiology of your body as well. So all these things are very, very important aspects, and this can be taken care of only with yoga intervention. So what you can see here is traditional yoga complements Western medicine. I'll tell you a very simple example. You take hypertension patients, diabetes patient with peptic ulcer or a gastritis. He is having this disease through life. It's a chronic in nature. It can't be cured. It can be only managed and better managed. Only if you involve the lifestyle components here. A person with a diabetes, if he is not properly doing a lifestyle, what would happen to him? What would happen to him? He will be taking one pill initially for first year. Second year, he'll add on one more pill because the glucose won't come under control. Third year, he may have to take 3 pills and insulin as well. Right? So he's only managing his medication but not doing anything to take care of the disease himself. And this is where yoga really comes about. So if you look at prevalence of complementary and alternative medicine, now I don't really call this word complementary and alternative, because this is very important for you to understand this definition. Alternative means when you use something instead of the modern medicine or a pill, is called alternative. Complementary is when you use it along with the medicine or a pill, but you don't have evidence for it, it's called complementary. Integrative is where you have evidence for using this yoga intervention or anything, and therefore you're using it along with the modern medicine, it's called integrative medicine. And now we are moving from CAM to integrative medicine, and you can see about 30% of the population take recourse to CAM. Not just US, even in India as well. I did a survey on cancer patients very recently, about 4 hospitals in 2017, and we found that 25% of these patients on the first line of treatment, these are early cancer patients, early breast cancer, head and neck cancer patients, 25% of the patients took recourse to complementary alternative medicine, Ayurveda, homeopathy, yoga, meditation, Reiki, energy medicine, whatnot. Among them, 60% of them didn't tell their doctor they're taking it. So obvious to the fact, the doctors don't know that patients are taking this kind of medicine, and patients don't tell the doctor that they're taking this medicine. Okay, so this is a very, very important aspect. So this evidence for this is very, very important to be generated. Now look at what is the awareness on yoga. So we did a very big assessment IDY impact assessment, we call it as, in the year 2021. So what we looked at is to see how many of them take recourse to yoga. So how many of them are physically finding it hard to relax. You can see about 56% of patient people who respondents whom we did the survey on said that it's very difficult to relax. They have some stress or the other. Okay, and 55% of them feeling stressed. 29% of the persons was sitting for more than 8 hours a day. Okay, and you can see most of the people are saying that they don't have yoga classes near to me. It is not accessible. That's why I'm not doing yoga. This is the reason which they gave. And if you look at what kind of practice people are doing yoga, they're aware of what is. 33% of them said they do asanas. Okay, sorry, 33% of them are aware of yoga or International Day of Yoga. 36% of them were doing asanas. 34% were doing Surya Namaskars. And 30% of them were doing meditation practices, meditative practices, contemplative practices. Okay, so this is the impact assessment of IDY, shows what is the prevalence of yoga among the masses. About 30% of the population does know about yoga, have done yoga at one point of time or other. Okay, what is yoga then? Is it a headstand posture? Shirshasana? No. What is yoga? People think yoga is flexibility of body, right? It is not flexibility of body. It is flexibility of the mind. What happens when you have tensions, stress, conflicts inside your mind? You're always thinking about the same problem. The tensions are just going on. The speed of thoughts are going on in your mind. You don't get sleep. You become anxious. You become agitated. You become irritable. Right? You show aggressive behaviors. You have aggressive or intense emotions. Right? How do you control those? Slowing down the mind. Manaha prashamana upaya yoga ityabi diyate. Yoga stitta vritti nirodha. So all these are important definitions of yoga which tells you it is the science of calming down the mind. Okay, so it is about flexibility of the mind, acceptance of the situation, tolerating the situation. Okay, when you start doing that, gradually your mind keeps coming down, thought process keeps coming down, stress also keeps coming down. So it's a coping strategy basically. It tells you how to manage your mind. So what are the barriers to yoga? Why I'm putting these barriers is because this is where the innovation really comes in. People say, I don't have time. I have to do 1 hour yoga class. No way, I don't have time in the morning. I have to rush to my office. Okay. So it's very difficult to get up and spend 1 hour every day to do yoga here. People say, I'm too tired. I have sore muscles. People think if you don't have sleep, you can't do yoga. Do you know yoga can really help in jet lag? First time when I went to US in 2002, I happened to go to my friend's place, my schoolmate friend in San Francisco. And he told me don't sleep now. It was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon because the time change will be there. To sleep when it's going to the night time. And night time he called all my classmates to come there. And they didn't allow me to sleep also. Okay. Then I said, then next day morning they had planned to have a trek. Early morning, 6 o'clock. Then they said, I was thinking, what should I do? I was getting very drowsy and sleepy. Then I just slept for about 4 hours, got up, did what is called cyclic meditation. Cyclic meditation is a part of a yoga program. Maybe try to go to deeper internal awareness and rest. And 20 minutes of it is, believe me, 20 minutes of it is equal to 6 hours of deep sleep. And I felt very fresh after that. I did this, I felt very fresh after that. I went for hiking and trekking and came back. Okay. So that is very, very important. So yoga is it's not that I am feeling tired, so I want to do yoga. That's not an excuse. Yoga is something different. Yoga is not asanas. It's a type of relaxing your mind, and it's almost equivalent to alertful rest. Okay. So these are all important. So this is all. What is important here is yoga should not be. It's not that yoga should be done for 1 hour. Even 20 minutes, 10 minutes of yoga also is very, very useful. Just sitting there doing deep breathing. 5 seconds inhalation, 5 seconds exhalation. We call it a sinus rhythm. This triggers a relaxation response in your brain, reduces the thought waves in your brain. Okay, so this is a very important aspect. So many things can be done which can really calm down or quieten your mind, and that is yoga. So how does it work? Asanas we have. To break down the yoga components, you have the asanas, you have the pranayama. Okay, there's elongation of breath. Okay, then you have the quiet mind, that is dhyana, where you're calming down your mind, thought process in your mind. So all these work on these systems. They work on the endocrine system, immune system, cardiovascular, nervous system, and the musculoskeletal system as well. Okay. If you want to see the real effects of yoga after yoga practice, your heart rate should come down. Your breathing should become slower and easier and longer. Suppose your breath rate before yoga class was something around 16 to 20 per minute. After yoga class, it should be something around 12 to 14 per minute. So just slightly come down. Stress levels have to come down. Heart rate has to come down. Blood pressure has to come down. So these are some of the vital data. We can easily see how it can come down. We can also look at EEG as well. Okay. And if you see the evidence for yoga today in medicine, huge. You just see the kind of ladder, the pyramid shape is taking up. The number of articles and publications of yoga in the last 2-3 decades have just gone up tremendously. Just to give you some small statistics, before 2014, the first publications of yoga came in the year 1920s onwards. 1920s onwards. And from 1920s to taking up to 2014, if you see, average number of publications on yoga in the PubMed, National Institute of Health Library of Medicine, if you see, it was about 35 papers in a year, average publications. Today, after 2014 onwards, 800 publications per year. See the tremendous jump in the number of publications on yoga. And the West, they have two different aspects. They take yoga separately, meditation separately. The reason for this is the early forms of yoga was more of contemplative practices in the 1960s and 70s. Swami Rama, Maheshwari Yogi, all of them went to the West, started propagating transcendental meditation, started propagating meditative practices there. Okay, and these are the people who also had siddhis, mind you. What siddhi means? They had certain special powers with yoga. Swami Rama could change the temperature of his digits by 10 degrees centigrade, 2 digits. He could increase the heart rate at will, 360 per minute, bring it down at will, 40 per minute. Same time. A lot of experiments have been done on this. They've been published in reputed journals like American Heart Journal as well. Okay. People could even go to Samadhi, and even documentation of Samadhi is also there in American Heart Journal. It's published in 1971 by B.K. Anand, Department of Physiology and AIMS. Okay. So all these things were there. This brought the West to very closer to yoga. They became fascinated with this yoga. Western researchers came to India and started doing research on yoga. And meditative practices took the forefront stage initially, and then yoga came about. For them, Western countries, yoga means asanas. Okay, meditation means contemplative practices. But yoga, as per as Indian philosophy tradition, meditation is also a part of the yoga. It's a higher part of the yoga. So what are the innovations in the yoga sector? You know, there are a lot of barriers, right? How do you make this yoga better for people to practice? We have used wearables. There are headbands which are there are bracelets which are there are rings which are there now. Okay. You have devices which can be used. You have a smart mat which can measure the stress and look at how you are relaxed after yoga. You have apps for yoga as well. All these innovations are there to measure the accuracy of yoga practice, adherence to yoga practice, effectiveness of yoga practice by basically looking at whether you're relaxed or not, calming effect is there or not, and scalability of yoga practice, how you can do online yoga safely and effectively as well. Okay, so I'll go into some of the startups whom we had a startup yoga challenge in 2022, and we had a lot of startups presenting this, and we're also incubating certain startups now. So I'll just come to this one, and you know the scope of practice of yoga is immense. 300 million people practice yoga globally, and 70% of these are women. Okay, so it is a very huge popular practice across the world. And you can see the business potential of the yoga market here. Okay, if you look at smart and connected fitness devices, the size of the market is supposed to grow up to 59.2 billion by 2027. Global yoga market is also supposed to grow to 216 billion by 2025. Very huge market. The yoga mat market alone is around $80 billion. Yoga mat market, just related to the yoga mats. So a lot of accessories on yoga are becoming very, very popular today. And a lot of technology disruptors are now coming up. We have AI-driven personalization of yoga, gamification of yoga, okay? And we have a lot of growth drivers which are there because there are a lot of awareness about yoga today in the public. So how many of them, the studies been done on 2023? We show that 56% want to reduce stress, 49% want to improve health, 40% want to enhance the strength of fitness, 36% want better sleep, and 21% want to adjust the weight. So these are reasons for taking up to yoga and fitness. So this is a technology company, a startup in Bengaluru called Zand. It's a company called Terra Blue. So they came up with a yoga bracelet. Okay. So this helps in looking at this is just worn on your wrist. It measures your heart rate, variability, the pulse rate, and it helps in trying to see how you can use it for looking at the components of stress and components of sleep as well as recuperation after yoga practice. This is all the studies they have done. They have done work on defense as well. And this is the kind of dashboard you get on using a ZANT, the same device. Okay. So another one is called the Ayurhythm. You can go to Google Play Store, download this app called Ayurhythm. They just use the LED sensor at the back of the mobile, optic sensor, and you can measure your Prakriti, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Prakriti. It will also measure Vikruti, means how your pulse rate is. Based on your pulse diagnosis, it will tell you which dosha in your body is deranged. Okay, so this is we have been I've been involved in mentoring this startup. So before I came here, so this is the mobile app. You can see both in Hindi and English it is available. They give personalized approaches to diet as well as yoga based on the dosha predominance. Okay, so there's another app called Ayu Yoga app. Is also on the website developed at SPIASA and with other technology research technologies from Bombay. So this is helps in giving personalized yoga modules for different diseases, therapeutic yoga modules. You can go to this app and take an online demo and class as well with using this Ayu Yoga app. Then you have Yogify Smart Mat. This is made up of some nano material sensors on the yoga mat, which can measure the position of the person doing the yoga. Okay, it will tell you the accuracy of the yoga practice. Okay, it will tell you the accuracy of the yoga practice. You can see the foot and the hand. So based on different asanas, they have made the algorithms there, and it will tell you the accuracy of yoga practices, and it can be used for remote delivery of yoga for the masses. This is how it looks like. You can see the deep dive analysis of the yoga mat. So this is called the Yogify app. You can look at this on the Play Store as well and check this up. These are the kind of reports you get on the app. Okay. So they have a lot of insights for personalization. The activity tracker is there, asana detection is there, asana correction is also there in this particular thing. Okay, and a lot of flexibility metrics are also there in this. Okay, so a lot of work they are doing to improvise this particular mat, and it's a big popular now in US and Canada and all. So this is also they're using the NCD therapy kit as well. Then you have the sun salutation app for doing Surya Namaskar. There are different types of Surya Namaskar, the 13-step one, 14-step one, and 12-step one. And they are using this one. You can use any of these steps and practice Surya Namaskars. And it will just has a video recording of your Surya Namaskar. It does your automatic counting of how many Surya Namaskars you have done. So you don't have to count the Surya Namaskars yourself. So this is an app which we used for sun salutation. It's called the Sunups app. Okay, it's called Sunups app. So there are about 72 countries, 8,000 plus users, 6.5 lakh Sunups have been already documented using this app. So they're in 4 languages. So it helps in looking at adherence, accountability, and it helps in increasing your experience. So you know how many Surya Namaskars you have done. We did a Surya Namaskar Suryathon last year on the day of Makara Sankranti or Pongal, we call it as. We launched this particular Suryathon. So people were supposed to do 108 Surya Namaskars on this day. So this was used to track the 108 Surya Namaskars. Okay. So these are another one, yoga for kids from Gunjan App Studios. We are trying to gamify the yoga here and make it very interesting here for the children, along with the healthy body, healthy mind, happy life. We say yoga se hi hoga. This is what is the slogan we gave, and it has achieved a very huge scale, large amount of downloads of this particular app for children, especially for kids to do yoga. Okay, so you can see around 27.5 thousand reviews, 5 million downloads are there on the Google App Store. So this is all there on the Google app. You can look at it and download them as well. This is the Hello World. This is a very interesting thing, which is from a startup from Mysore in Karnataka again. And they have made a hollow mat. And teacher wears what is called the hollow suit. A teacher can be in India and you have somebody there in US doing yoga here. It's just like an avatar movie. And you can see when they do the yoga in their room, you can see the avatar of the teacher coming next to you on the hollow mat. Okay, you can have a holographic avatar of the teacher coming next to you on the hollow mat and doing yoga here. This is again one thing which we have seen. So these are the app which has been there with the hollow mat and hollow suit. And this is the again they have used a VR virtual reality camera and they are developing a meditative experience. You know, we do what is called guided meditation. What is meditation? All of you know. Anybody knows what is meditation? Single sentence. Raj Yoga is meditation. How do you say simply in simple language what is meditation? Controlled breathing? No. Help to yourself. How do you define it? How do people live and understand that? Simple thing. When you go to deep sleep, You're not aware of space, you're not aware of time, right? You get up from there, what will happen? Oh, I slept for 2 hours. I didn't know how deeply I slept. So you are in a deep sleep state of silence, shunyata. That state of silence, if you are able to experience that when you are awake, that is meditation. Imagine. The deep sleep state, when you're able to experience it when you are awake, that is meditation. So meditation, somebody says, I'll teach you meditation for an hour. Don't be fooled by it. It is a practice which comes out of repeated practice. It comes only with repeated practice. Okay, to silence your mind, to calm down your mind at a wakeful state. So that you can help in getting done. It will take you to the particular state by using guided relaxation techniques. Okay, so this is the kind of thing. This is won't go into all this. And this is the other thing which we have mentored, and we have used it in COVID patients as well. So we used it to monitor COVID patients in all the COVID wards with a multi-centric study which we did in 5 major hospitals: AIMS Delhi, AIMS NCI Jajjar, Rajiv Gandhi Super Specialty Hospital, and AIMS Rishikesh. Okay, so we use this sensor mat which goes under the yoga mat or it goes under the bed, and it's nothing but the pressure sensors, the ballistocardiographic sensors called BCG. BCG is something called, it takes the vibrations of the heart during systole and diastole. So it will help in developing what is called the QRS waves or the J waves, we call it as, similar to ECG only. ECG takes the electrical activity of the heart. This takes the vibrations or motions of the heart during systole diastole. So this is a non-contact sensor. It goes below the mat, and you can get the you can get the details of this one. This is the kind of dashboard you can get. I would know when I put it, if I put it below the bed, I will know how much time it took to go to sleep for the patient. Okay, the yellow line you can see here tells you it took almost 84 minutes to go to sleep. Okay, it tells you he had a total sleep of 4 hours 33 minutes in the night. It tells you how much amount of stress he had during sleep. Your trust you can see here. This says increased amount of stress during sleep. Okay, and it tells you the sympathovasal balance is there or not during sleep. Also it tells you. So it will tell you exactly how much recovery he had from sleep. So there's a recovery score which we have developed. It tells you how much recovery you had from sleep, whether the sleep was good or no. Okay, so we can monitor all these things using yoga, and this device can now also monitor left ventricular ejection time. We use it. It's also called the T index. It's used for calibrating or diagnosing heart failure. We use echocardiography for diagnosing heart failure. Now this sensor mat is being calibrated. It can diagnose heart failure as well. So we are using this study in the multicentric study on yoga for heart failure patients, which we are going to be using this device for these heart failure patients. So another study, another one startup for FitFrame Technologies. They're looking at doing proper positioning alignment of the body during exercises and during yoga. Okay, so they have developed this particular app, and it is actually a beta version of it, which they are still doing. And you want to know who these people are? These are 10th grade students from Kolkata. 10th grade students from Kolkata are doing this work. Okay, so a lot of work is going on in this area. FitBuddy is another app we can use for training. It can be used in yoga, it can be used in physical exercise training as well. So it will tell you what is the best way of doing the training part. So it tells you with FitBuddy, it tells you what alignment you are maintaining is right or not, where you're going wrong, where your chin should be, where your tongue should be, where your hand should be. It will give you all the corrective advice to be given to you when you're doing a fitness exercise. Okay. So as you can see here, without FitBuddy, what you're doing is completely wrong. Okay. Push-ups, what you're doing is wrong. It will tell you how to maintain your push-ups. Okay, it will tell you about the accuracy. So these are very, very important today. Because if you do it wrong, it's of no use. Because exactly the muscles which you are supposed to strengthen will be strengthened only if you do the correct posture, correct alignment. So if you're doing something wrong, it has no meaning at all, no value at all. So this is a FitBuddy mobile app. So today we have a lot of innovations happening in yoga sector in India, and we hope this is going to help go to the global market and have a global opportunity and impact. And we at CCRYN, we are trying to collaborate with IITs now and IKS as well, or if possible. And we want to take it to a larger extent, to larger masses by starting incubating incubation centers, especially for these yoga apps and yoga wearable devices. So thank you all for your attention. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to take it up. Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. That's the biggest challenge which we are facing now. But what we are trying to do for those metrics, see, basically, yoga is a science of calming down the mind. We are trying to see whether the stress is coming down or not. So no, there's nothing to look at stress. Right now, we're not measuring stress before or after yoga, right? It's just the patient's own verbatim subjective experience of yoga. He say, I feel relaxed, I feel fresh. Okay, I feel better now. Right? That's what you expect of anybody from a yoga class. Right? My niggles and pains have gone. I feel more light-headed, all these things, right? But if you can really look at the other objective parameters of it, heart rate coming down, blood pressure coming down, heart rate variability going towards the parasympathetic tone, and so it tells you that what you're doing is right. So if a person is a remote and if he's using a smart mat here, then data is going to go to that person. Now I was able to monitor all these COVID patients in the hospital using my laptop in my office. I just had to key the UHID number and I should get all the details of the patient in the previous night. I should give the details of the patient before and after yoga. Okay, so all these are just available with the click of a button there. So that helps you to look at objectifying the what is missing in the particular yoga sector. That can be objectified by using these apps. One is that. Of course, the interpersonal experience between the teacher, guru, and the shishya, what you experience in a yoga class, what you experience in a group class will not be there. But nevertheless, people don't have time to go. I said to you about accessibility of yoga classes, right? How many people are accessible to the yoga class? 50% of them say that they don't have yoga class near them where they can go and then learn the correct of yoga. Again, so many yoga classes, so many types of yoga, so many kinds of teachers. They don't know about which yoga to do. What is the quality of the yoga practice? Is what they're doing right or wrong? They don't know. So all these are issues which are there, which these apps are going to help in reducing it.
Hello. At the top here, who authenticates these apps which you are making?
So what we are doing is we are taking through an ecosystem where we are validating these apps. So for example, there's an app on the sleep yoga mat. So we did this validation in NIMHANS in Bengaluru, in HCG Oncology Hospital in Bangalore, and we're also now doing the same validation of this in AIMS. So we are doing this validation, the medical validation, scientific validation of these in the top premier institutes. And the incubation center is meant for that itself, both in the technology front, the algorithms, and on the medical front, putting it on the patients or putting it in the medical, the clinical, to look at the clinical outcomes, whether it's really validating or not, we'll find out. This is what we are doing, sir. Right now, these apps, when they came, they were not validated at all, but we are now putting up those validation mechanism. We are not providing certification, but we are now venturing into a startup ecosystem now, where we're going to be working with IITs and AIMS and all. We're going to be incubating these centers, and we'll be providing funding for them as well. Just like the big grant, biotechnology integration grant, we'll be providing funds for them as well. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Ma'am, we are doing a lot of work on qualitative research, which you are talking about. These come under the ambit of qualitative research. So there's a lot of work which we did, and we just recently did a workshop on qualitative research methodology in AIMS Rishikesh. So we are using yoga for qualitative research as well, and a lot of work is coming up in that area. Sure, sure. We can discuss, ma'am. We can discuss those things, yeah. Certainly. We are happy for it because we are doing a lot of work. We are not just doing work in the area of tech or in the area of medicine here, but we are also doing a lot of work on literary research. We have bought out a company of Yoga Upanishads, and a lot of work is done in Yoga Bhashya of Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Vyasa's commentary on Patanjali Yoga Sutras. So a lot of things which are not there in the main literature print, which are only there in the small manuscripts or in the libraries. We are collecting all of them and then putting up into a compendium. Yes. So that work is also going on. So we are trying to get all the papers together which have documented these kind of siddhis, especially in the Siddhi Purushas, the people who are accomplished yogis. So we are then taking up and then trying to work on that. Yes, sorry, ma'am. Yeah, that is, no, we already have a lot of work is going on in yoga field. So we do have robust guidelines on this. And I think there are some guidelines which are there. I think you should look at it. It's there on the PubMed. A lot of studies which are there, reviews are there on yoga guidelines for doing research in yoga. Yes, first person inquiry we don't have, ma'am. That we don't have. That we'll have to develop. This is qualitative research methods which are there. We are just taking it up now because this was not done before. So we have just started into that, ventured into that area. So that work is going on. And we'll be happy if some people can take it up.